Defense is often referred to as the fundamental aspect of a title-winning team. Arsenal have not only embodied this idea, but have taught us how to execute a well-orchestrated defense. Let's take a look. This Premier League season has been one of the most challenging seasons to date. We have the superb surprise team Sunderland, Crystal Palace having good runs of form, and Villa looking at the top of their game. However, the team that stands out this season is Arsenal. They've been runners-up for the last 3 seasons in a row, and it seems like it's finally their time. The way Arsenal play is quite enticing. Today we take a look at their defensive prowess, which has been the actual reason for their dominance this season. In order to understand how Arsenal look to defend, we have to first look at defensive principles in the modern game. Modern team look to manage the space, delay the opposition attack, as well as press when needed. But the most important part of any tactical execution is adaptability. Many teams in modern-day football do find it challenging to adapt to the opposition's tactical approach. Hence, they would find it difficult to win game. Arsenal, however, have seemed to master this, and of course there are more defensive principles in defensive play. But for now, let's focus on these. Arsenal mainly approached football games in a 4-3-3 formation. The main idea from Arsenal would be to have as much attacking players upfield, whilst maintaining good numbers deep and having sufficient cover of space in case they are caught on the transition. Oftentimes, we Ricardo Calafiori and Jurrien Timber overlapping, meaning theoretically, there would be a center half deep whilst the whole team moves upfield. To compensate this, Arsenal would then have one of their midfielders drop into the back line, creating a back 3, or they would have either one of their fullbacks stay conservative during build-up. This approach does 3 things. It allows for cover deep in case of a high turnover. It allows Arsenal to still have good numbers upfield. And Arsenal would be able to compact the center of the pitch quite well, as they would have a back 3 that would be supported by one midfield player. As we would oftentimes see them building up in a back 3-1 shape, in this we see Arsenal already managing the space. We would then see Arsenal embody a man-to-man press whenever opposition teams look to counter. The Arsenal defenders would be brave enough to step into the opposition half in order to apply the press. The ultimate idea from Arsenal's high press would be to minimize space between the first line of pressure to the last line of defense. Here why? This allows Arsenal to be extremely aggressive, not fearing the spaces in behind. It allows them to manage possession as they can counter-press quite effectively, and they can have the numbers needed for their attack. Now we see Arsenal applying to principles of defense that we mentioned earlier, managing space and pressure on the opponent. How do Arsenal then delay in their games? Let's take a look. We would not see Arsenal press aggressively all the time during phases of play. We would see them adopt a mid-block defending in a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3 shape. This implies that Arsenal, after losing the ball high up the pitch, would at times drop deep and look to recover, instead of counter-pressing high up. This would allow them to slow this opposition's attack down, allowing them to then organize their rest defensive and reshape their last line of defense. We would see Arsenal do this mostly when they against teams that look to go long into the wide areas, or have a really good target man. Now that we have covered how Arsenal apply these principles, it's time to explore the most important one, adaptability. Arsenal have become masters at this as most of their games. We would see the opposite starting off string, or during the game they would have strong spells of This meant that the opposition managed to find a weakness in Arsenal's defense. Then the game would shift. Arsenal would then adapt to this weakness and begin to take control of the game back. For the most part, this is how it would go down. Arsenal, as stated, would have their back 3 cover. The opposition would look to exploit the wide areas by either playing long or having good interchanges of play. Arsenal's back 3 would cover the center more than the wide areas. Arsenal would then adapt by having one more player deep in order to solidify their space management. All this compounded by really good individual output is the main reason why Arsenal have managed really good defensive performances this season. This is also complemented by Arsenal's start center halves Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba. These two are single-handedly the best defensive duo in the Premier League. Hence we say a very clear factor, which is that Arsenal have only conceded 5 goals in open play when these two defend together. This is not taking away the fact that Hincapié and Mosquera have more than stepped up this season. Hence Arsenal are still top of the table even though Gabriel and Saliba have had their injury dilemmas. This further emphasizes Arsenal's educational depth as the system stays the same. Even though the players change, the Arsenal goalkeeper David Raya is also to be praised, as he has stepped up on more than one occasion when Arsenal needed him most. As Arsenal would be penetrated by the opposition, leading to a shot that would be too much for most goalkeepers, but not David Raya. Although they do have slight issues to fix, and example would be that Arsenal, when deep, tend to overdo the zonal marking aspect, as most of their defenders would drop deep into the box looking to cover space. This then leads to the opposition managing to find really good space through movements. Not only this, but as stated, when faced with a transition, if the opposition can manage to well execute their space exploitation out wide and in the center, it oftentimes causes Arsenal issues when they look to aggressively press. This is mainly due to the compactness, high line, or overloads that the opposition look to create against Arsenal. If we were to explore and take a deeper dive into the emaciated defensive approach, we would be here all day. For now, we will pause here and see how the rest of the season unfolds. Could Arsenal win the league, or will they collapse and be overthrown by another Premier League club? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section.